Hey, everybody. Welcome back to a Love Talk podcast with me, your host, Shantae. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. I hope that your Christmas went really, really well and that you are blessed and highly favored and all that good stuff. Again, welcome back to the Love Talk podcast, where we talk about everything love, relationships, friendships, romantic, family, and as my co-host, Miss Queen Unique, would say, sunken ships and drunken ships. Hey, girl, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I cannot complain at all. How was your Christmas?
It was pretty good. We just chilled and just had family time. How about you?
Mine was pretty good. Just chilled and slept, and I can't complain at all. That's enough of a gift for me.
Good enough.
On top of that, I had a Christmas Eve party, a little potluck style at my house the night before Christmas, and so it went really, really well. Definitely had a good weekend. Can't complain at all.
That's wonderful.
Cannot complain at all. So yeah, girl, what's going on with you? What's new with you?
Same stuff, different day.
Girl, who you telling? Same stuff, different day, but we are here, blessed and highly favored nonetheless, because we get to keep coming back to y'all with the Love Talk podcast. What? And as y'all know, we are trying to make it over to Sirius XM. So if you can go over to the Love Talk podcast on Pandora, make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff over on Pandora. That will help get us reference to Sirius XM Radio, which is where we're trying to be. Also, make sure that you find us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. The Love Talk podcast can be found on all those platforms. Make sure you also check us out on YouTube at the Love Talk Podcast, Facebook at the Love Talk Podcast, and you can find all of our social medias in Instagrams, all that good stuff on all of those platforms. Also, don't forget, we are trying to host our first matchmaking episode. We're trying to host our first matchmaking episode, the Love Talk Dating Games. If you want to be a part of that, make sure you click the link. It'll either be in the description or the comments of this video. Click on the link, fill out the application, and if you're looking to find love, the Love Talk is where you want to be. Now, we don't know if we're going to match Martin and Gina, or if we're going to match Big Shirley and Cole. But whatever it is.
I have no idea.
We don't know what it's going to be. But join us on the Love Talk podcast, Dating Games, as we get ready to go down a whole different avenue that we've never been down before, but it should be fun. Am I missing anything? What else? Am I missing something?
I don't think so.
I don't think I'm missing nothing. All right, y'all. We're about to get ready to jump into today's episode. Today we are talking about Mr. Jonathan Majors and the guilty verdict that he got. And
Which I think was a bunch of BS, but okay.
a bunch of BS. I couldn't agree with you more. We're going to be talking about Jonathan Majors, and we're also going to be talking about first date questions you should ask before pursuing a relationship. And believe it or not, there are quite a few. Yeah, you may not be trying to jump into something, but I think it's better to know sooner rather than later. So we're going to talk about all that today on the Love Talk podcast. Make sure y'all stay tuned, and let's go ahead and jump into this thing.
All right.
All right, all right, all right. Here we go. So let's get into it. I'm not sure which which one we should touch first. I really, really, really want to talk about this whole Jonathan Majors thing. Um, that that is unfortunate. That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
he's the one who wanted to go to court because he felt like he had enough um evidence to prove his innocence, which I think he did. So yeah, because like I was reading on some stuff and they were like, "Oh, his fans want to know the jury's name." I was like, "Yeah,"
Uh-huh.
because a lot of people are upset because that shouldn't happen.
Now, if you all do not know who Jonathan Majors is, he has played in movies like Creed 3, Ant-Man, the Quantumanium, The Five Bloods. He's played in a movie called Gully, and one of my personal favorites, The Harder They Fall, which is a Netflix movie. Really,
And he was about to
really
be
great
Kang,
actor.
the Kang Dynasty, whatever thing for Avengers in 2005. I mean, not
He was supposed,
2025.
but no longer is. Is that correct?
They dropped him. He's
They
gone.
dropped, they dropped him. That is crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. So you Miss Hollywood, you Miss Los Angeles, you Miss. She need to be a entertainer lawyer. She really do.
I did. Everybody tells me, it's so funny because I did go to law school, but I never took my bar. And
Uh-huh.
everybody's like, you should be an attorney. And I was like, nah, because my attorney would be held in contempt every case. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I be
yeah.
going
You
off
need.
on somebody.
She needs to be an entertainment lawyer. So, from your perspective, first of all, can you go over the evidence that he did show to the court?
There was a video of some scuffle in the car or whatever. We don't know who scuffling with who, but then he gets up the car and he starts running, and she's chasing after him, like pulling on his jacket and stuff.
Okay,
And
the
then
ex
yeah,
girlfriend.
and then there was, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'm assuming that they played some 911 calls that were from other witnesses that said that she was hitting him, that she was
Mm,
the aggressor, because that was even aired on like some, I think it was TMZ or something, or some kind of news station before, all like as soon as the whole incident happened of her accusing him or whatever. All these people started popping up and all these 911 call tapes and stuff. So all this evidence was out before he even went to court.
mm.
So I guess he thought the case was going to get dismissed or he wasn't going to get charged, and then all of a sudden he gets charged for it. And she's pretty much telling him like, "Oh, I can, ruin your career," because he met her through a movie I think her father was a director of. And that's how
Oh,
they met. And so she pretty much had like a lock hold on his career.
oh, and I'm assuming he played in the movie
Yeah,
on
that
they
her
met
father
on
was
that.
directing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how they met. That's why everybody was like, she's on some nonsense. How do you go messing up somebody's career and doing all that? And that's why I'm like, you can't believe everybody. You just can't.
It sounds
And
like
that's,
she's being very vindictive.
yeah. And she got on stage and on the stand and testified about how he abused her and all this stuff. But
Oh, I
she
can't hear you.
wasn't.
You went out.
Oh no, somebody had called my phone. I don't know why they calling. It's
Oh.
at the 5 o'clock. But she got on this stand like talking all kind of noise and stuff and boo-hooing with fake tears and all that stuff about how he had abused or whatever. And then I don't know what the cross examination was about, but um yeah, and his charges, but people gotta understand too, his charges were misdemeanors.
They were misdemeanor charges. Okay.
Yeah, it was like misdemeanor assault and misdemeanor something else. Like where he can either get a fine, jail time, which they say he could get up to a year in jail, or nothing at all because it was literally a misdemeanor. So his
Right.
career got ruined over misdemeanors,
Over nothing.
pretty
Over nothing.
much.
And so, with your take as far as the law side, do you think there was anything that he could have done differently that wasn't done?
Um, no, because he had his representation was good. I mean, he could have hired a good lawyer, but I mean, I'm not saying his lawyers was bad. His lawyers was good, but I'm just saying, like, there's really nothing he could do. It all comes down to, you know, how if the judges was being fair in the if the judge was being fair in the case, what they let in, what they didn't let in. You know what I'm saying? If the judge was being biased, it really all depends. But I don't know who the jury is. I don't know what the jury is mixed of. I don't know anything about the jury because they never tell you that. So
Mhm.
I want to know how they came to that conclusion that he was guilty when all the signs, even before all that, proved it. But this is my problem with this.
Okay.
Everybody knows that Ezra Miller, who does Flash from DC, had
Let's pull him
way
up.
worse charges, way worse, that he
Right.
pled guilty to.
And he pled guilty to actually to these
To the
charges.
way, yeah, and he got to stay in as the Flash in DC
Wow.
with no consequences. And that's what I have a problem with because his charges was way more serious than Jonathan Majors' charges.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Jonathan
Wow.
is done.
His career is done. Well,
Yeah,
probably
he's
not.
done.
Probably not all the way done.
No, he's done.
We
He got
saw
dropped from
well,
he got
we saw
dropped
Chris
from
Brown take
everything.
yeah, not from everything. There's always somebody out there, but we saw Chris Brown
The
come
thing
back
is,
and was like, boom.
yeah, but this is the thing. People still mad about Chris Brown. So this is the thing. The only way he
That's
could
true. That is
really,
true.
yeah, the only way he could really fully, I guess, redeem himself, not even redeem himself, because I don't believe that he should have been found guilty. But the only way he could like redeem his career is if he filed an appeal.
Mm. An
But I
appeal
don't know
to
if he's
keep
gonna.
proving
No, an
his
appeal
innocence.
for a new trial, appeal to appeal the jury's verdict. You gonna file appeal on any grounds. My thing
Right.
is, I don't know if he'll have enough time to do it because his sentencing is in February. But yeah, it's all bad.
I say it's all bad. I think it's just really, really unfortunate, especially because he is a good actor. He is a good
And he was
actor.
so
He's
on
done
the
some
rise, like he was at
yeah.
the height of his career.
Yeah, yeah, he's done some amazing things already in his career with the short amount of time that he's been in it. I mean, and maybe he's done stuff before. I'm sure he's probably did a few indie films and things like that. But we were really starting to see him. I think one of the most recent movies we had seen him in was the Ant-Man and also Creed 3 that he
Creed
did an
3,
amazing
yeah,
job. He did an amazing job on
yeah.
both of those movies. And so it's really, really unfortunate that he's going through this situation, and that it could possibly be the cost of his career. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I don't see that, but there definitely seem to be a
I mean,
push
I mean,
to
he
make.
will because when you get dropped by major companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, your management team, your agent, you're through. That's what that means. You are through. So,
We've seen people make comebacks. We have seen
I
people make
mean, I've
comebacks.
never seen nobody make a comeback, and I've been doing this for over 30 years. So,
Yeah, well, I've seen people make comebacks. You know, he wouldn't be the only one. Now, yes, he is a man of color. He is black, but as you can't take away from the the part where he is talented, and then on top of that, it doesn't something with this is not sitting right. And honestly, if anybody know what's good for him or for them, why would you get rid of him? He doesn't we don't know him personally, right? And we really all don't know what happened. But if you could think for yourself and have a brain and a mind of your own, I just don't see him going anywhere. Yeah, those are
I
companies are
just
being
think that, they have, and maybe, I shouldn't be saying nothing like this, but I just think that, the way that they be portraying the demographics of people who could get away with stuff and not get away with stuff is a problem.
yeah, you ain't lying about that.
Because, like I said, Ezra Miller pled guilty to worse charges. Worse. Like, you can look up his chart, what he pled guilty to is way worse than misdemeanor assault. It's like simple assault, simple or something like that. It was like two little minor charges.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole thing with Ezra was like he was like on the run for like 4 months, 5 months. It was like a whole big deal, a whole big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like he literally almost messed up Flash for everybody.
He was about to
So
mess up everybody.
yeah, I mean, because like, don't get me wrong. Like, if I was DC, I'd have dropped him in a heartbeat. Like, you finna go do all this unnecessary nonsense, and we trying to release stuff. And if you want to act the fool, you go ahead and act the fool on your own terms, but not on our money, kind of thing. So I'd have been dropped him. But
Well, and honestly, he was being a little creepy. Anyway, there were some videos that had came up that on him where he was just being kind of creepy. He was just being a little weird.
yeah, so I'm
And
saying, but
so,
he got to keep his job, even though it's a different company.
oh yeah,
He
of
still
course,
got to keep his job, and that's what I don't understand. That's
of
what I'm
course.
like, you know, I'm happy that, Disney and all them didn't drop Jonathan as soon as the accusations came out like they did with Johnny. But
But
like
now
they
he's
actually
getting
let it
ready
play
to
out.
do
Uh,
another. Now Johnny's getting ready to do though another Pirates. He is
well,
definitely
that's
his
rumored.
price
I don't
tag
know.
is up.
I was.
Price tag
They
is
said
up.
they said that poster was actually false because he said he'll never ever 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 work with Disney again because the people who he thought would have had his back are
Yeah.
the first ones to drop him. And he said the only people that still dealt with him and didn't drop him was Dior. So he's
Mhm.
been working for Dior. That's you know what I'm saying. So, but he said he will never. He said he don't care if they give him like, I think it was like either $300 million or 300 million llamas or something. Like, he will never work for Disney again. So Disney messed up on that one. You don't just drop people based off of the word of somebody else. And I think that that's why when this whole accusation thing came out with Jonathan, they didn't drop him right away
Because of that.
because they learned their lesson. Because if they would have dropped him and he would have got found not guilty, you know what I'm saying? He could have pulled out of the Kang movie for Avengers, and he could have said,
Mhm.
"No, y'all cannot use my likeness." And they wouldn't have been able to make any money off of him. So all the money that they put into that movie would have been done.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, like, the way that they did Johnny, like, nobody else can play Jack Sparrow. I'm just saying there is
Oh no.
absolutely nobody
No, no,
else.
no, no, no. Nobody else.
Nobody else
Nobody
can be
else.
Jack Sparrow.
I
Nobody.
definitely agree with
So
that.
when you dropped him, you messed up. You messed up. You should have gave that man a chance to see. Now, if he would have got found guilty, or if they would have found in her favor, then okay. Then whatever. Okay, then you could drop him. But
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? But no. After all this
Ye
money this man done made you, y'all done use his likeness for all these rides at the park and selling merchandise. Y'all done made a lot of money off of this man. This man done made y'all a lot of money, and y'all gonna sit there
Oh
and just
yeah.
turn your back on him. I understand why he didn't want to go back. I completely do. I wouldn't have either. No, I don't care how bad I need. I could be sleeping on a park bench. No, no, I
Right,
will
but
not
that's
go back
because
to work.
he is Johnny Depp, and he is the person who has been the face of the pirates for
Yep.
since I was a kid. He's been doing this.
Hmm.
First Pirates came out a long time ago.
A long time ago.
We hadn't even moved to Colorado yet. We moved to Colorado in 2003. Okay, we hadn't even moved to Colorado yet before the first Pirates had came out, and so he's been the face of it for some time. Whether or not if
There
those
was
are
five
true,
movies out. 5 movies out. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Whether or not if those rumors are true, I don't know. I just heard that he said he would do it again, but the price tag on it, if they want him, is very, very large. We don't know if
if I was him,
that.
I'd have been like, y'all need to sign me over half of that company before I even do that. I want half of Disney. And
Well,
then, you know what I'm saying? I know I would do them the way they did me. You can't sit there and screw somebody over and then think that you could just weasel your way in because you're gonna drop a lump sum of money on them. No, you gotta make it worth their while. You literally dropped this man in his time of need. So you need to, if you want this man back, you better give me a house or something to show how sorry you are, because you should have never did that. Because at the end of the day, she was wrong. He was
Right.
right. And you let somebody ruin this whole man's life, this man's career, and you just automatically took her word for it. And it ended up getting ruled in his favor. And for what? Now you're out of money because you had a 6-movie deal and you can't film the 6th one because you lost your star because y'all chose to drop him over some BS, and now you're regretting your decision and now you want him back. No, you don't deserve him back, period.
Right, right. And this is Disney. Now Disney has had its crooked ways. In fact, I think Disney has a lot of crooked ways. Yes, they produce and they come out with a lot of family-oriented movies and things like that along those lines, but Disney has had some crooked ways and the way that they do business. And again, that's the thing, innocent until proven guilty, and sometimes we know that is not always the case. And but
Yeah, and
the
even if they get
people
proven guilty in Jonathan Major's situation, it should be the other way around. That's why I really wish he could appeal it quickly. I don't know, do something, get a new trial, something. But I mean, that man's whole career is ruined because of a word, because of somebody's word. If it's that easy to ruin somebody's career, like it should never be that easy. Period. It should never. But people make it that easy.
well, I say, but then again, that's where you have to consider, and we have to think about all the things that are at play. Now, I don't want to throw the race card, but this is something, a big
Hmm.
part of this that has to be mentioned is that the ex girlfriend is not African American. She is very much Caucasian. She's
Yeah.
very much Caucasian, and this is where you have to also throw those things in there because again, he was on the rise with his career. He was doing a lot. He was doing a lot. And those are things that I do think about when considering cases like this because it's not something that is unheard of, whether if it's in
Yeah.
the entertainment world or it's out of it. Black men being found guilty of assaults, domestic violence, and abuse towards their white girlfriends, ex-wives, or whatever it is nothing unheard of, whether if they've done it or not. I mean, it was literally a whole group of men that were found guilty on claims of raping this white woman. I think it was back in the 1980s, who stayed in prison for a long, long time. And they had nothing to do with this woman's rape. And so it's not like this is not something that is unheard of. It is something that happens, unfortunately, a whole lot more than what
And
is
that's why I
shown.
said I wonder what the makeup of the jury was, because I don't know if it was an all white jury. I don't know. But I know if there was enough African Americans in there, he'd have been found not guilty. That's all I'm saying. And I'm
If
just saying
there
because
was.
If there was, I don't know, because they don't ever show the jury. You don't ever know who the jury is until after the trial. That's if they want to speak.
Right.
But
Right.
but and like I said, yeah, nobody wants to play the race card, but I mean, we got to look at it for what it is, because like
Yeah.
I said, Ezra Miller got to keep his job on worse charges, even though, like I said, again, it was a different company, but he got to keep his job and is still making movies, is still making money. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, for what?
Well, this here article is accredited to TMZ. This is Jonathan Majors. This is the ex-girlfriend whose name is Grace Jabari. This article was put out on October 25th of 23, but this
See,
here
yeah,
this
and she
says
didn't get no charges. Yep, she didn't get no charges. I remember that because he asked to
this
press charges on her, and they told him no.
It says the ex-girlfriend who's accusing Jonathan Majors of assaulting her is now herself in trouble with the law for allegedly striking him, and she's now surrendered to police in New York and NYC. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ Grace Jabari was arrested Wednesday evening at Manhattan's 10th precinct for allegedly attacking the Creed 3 actor, with Majors filed a cross complaint against her back on June
Yeah,
22nd.
but look at the date on that. Look at the
Right,
date on that. That's how
right.
far back it was. The prosecution declined to press charges on her, even though they kept asking to press charges on her to prosecute her because there was witnesses that was calling 911 saying that they were watching her hit on him, and he's telling her to stop, and he's trying to get away from her. This
And
was
so
all in the same incident. This is all the
while the
same incident. Mhm.
while the jury is important, I do wonder about the jury. What else I wonder about is who is and what is the name Jabari to who are these people in order for her to have done even what she's done with her hitting him or being caught hitting him, whatever it is. Who are these people for her to have gotten off, first of all, on charges that it sounded like he wanted pressed against her, but then on top of that, to again be responsible for this man potentially losing his whole career.
Yeah, and the prosecution decided to press charge. I think what it was because they were saying he had, I guess, forcefully pushed her into the car or something like that. That was because she was beating on him and he was trying to get away.
Hmm.
So because he supposedly, allegedly, forcefully pushed her into the car, back into the interior of the car, not like into the car on the outside, but like pushed her back inside the car to get away from her. I guess that's what they're trying to say was assault. Another thing was the prosecution was trying to say he faked the 911 call about her supposedly trying to commit suicide because I guess she was unconscious and she had like a cut or something on her head or something, and she had taken a lot of pills, I guess, and they played the 911 call, and he was saying, I guess, like she's like unconscious on the ground or whatever, and they were um saying that because I guess she had the mark on her head, that's he had struck her or something, and that's what actually made her unconscious, not her taking pills.
Hmm.
Even though
Yeah,
he's the one who made the 911 call about her being unconscious.
it sounds like to me, and I could be wrong, but it sounds like to me one of the things that she definitely has a problem with is attention seeking. And what it sounds like to me is I bet you he probably wasn't giving her I'm just making an assumption, but he probably wasn't giving her enough attention. He wasn't giving her what she wanted. He probably didn't want to be with her, but she sounds like one of those people that would say something like, I'm going to hurt myself if you leave me. She almost seems like that type of person, unless she has a really narcissistic and toxic behavior about herself. Now, we could take away from the fact that she is Caucasian, she's white. Okay, yeah, she is. But because I've seen that card played on many different races where you really do
Yeah.
have people in relationships and they're like, well, if you leave me, I'm going to hurt myself. Or she was probably doing a whole bunch of stuff that was just wild and crazy. And so finally, she got something that she can pin on him to hurt him because she's actually hurt. Maybe by the fact that he just simply do not want to be with this crazy female because she seemed a little loose. Like some screws are definitely not there.
Yeah. And
Definitely
so
sound like
she
she
was
got some.
definitely a woman scorned or something because I believe she set him up.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, let's go ahead and watch this video real quick and see what they say. Again, this was back in October, but let's just get a little bit of a gist of what all happened
Oh.
after
Got pimples?
the ad.
I hate it.
And I'm not thinking like, oh, we're gonna get an ad, and yeah, it's on TMZ. So why wouldn't you get an ad? Why wouldn't you get an ad?
Of course. But yeah, as I was saying, they refused to press charges against her. And I believe that they should have because he's clearly running away in the video. You could literally see him running away, and she's chasing after him, and he keeps trying to remove her.
Say bizarre because yesterday his now ex-girlfriend, who's his accuser in the domestic violence incident in New York City, she surrendered to NYPD and was arrested for allegedly assaulting Jonathan Majors the night that they had this, blowout dispute in New York City,
for which he's now being prosecuted.
Right. And yesterday they set his trial date. It's going to be at the end of November that it starts. But the police felt that there was enough evidence to book the ex-girlfriend for assaulting him. They have details in the report where they say that she ripped his coat, ripped some buttons off of it, struck him across the face. I think scratched him was the detail in there.
Right.
Well, the odd part is what's going to happen going forward now that she's been booked for this.
Yeah, no, this is the interesting development. So there was enough to book her on these two charges, criminal mischief and assault for what you described, the slapping across the face and the scratches. But the prosecutors have indicated that they have no plan to prosecute her on these charges. So it seems as though the cops and the prosecutors are on different pages here. But nevertheless, this is going to bolster Jonathan Majors' defense because if it looks like mutual combat, it's going to help him.
So you had enough to book her, but you did not have enough to prosecute her.
No. It's not that they didn't have enough. The prosecution declined to prosecute her.
And that's a whole problem, especially when this man called the police and said, you know what, this person is assaulting me. This person is violently attacking me. That's an entire
And there was witnesses that called 911 saying that she was physically attacking him and assaulting him. That's why she was getting arrested. That's why you see on the video her chasing him. He's running away. So if you was really sitting there beating the hell out of me, you think I'm finna chase you?
That part.
If you just choked me and hit me, you think I'm finna chase after you? No.
That part.
Come on now. Come on now. Y'all need to be smart. And they're talking about, yeah, she ripped his jacket. Yeah, all that's on video.
All that's on video.
People, yeah, you could all you gotta do is Google it. It'll pop up. All that's on video. He is literally running away from this woman. And like I said, there was a few 911 calls from other people that don't know him, don't know her, that literally said this woman is assaulting this man, and he's trying to get away from her.
Wow.
That's why I said I don't know how he got found guilty. That don't make no sense to me. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, we know how he got found guilty.
Well, yeah.
How he got found guilty. That much is not a surprise. We know how he got found guilty. I'm gonna go ahead and try to find this video of Miss Grace assaulting Jonathan.
I still wholeheartedly believe that she needs to be held accountable. She set out to ruin this man's life. She told him she could ruin his career and ruin his life. And she did exactly what she said she would do. So she's not Miss Little Innocent. No.
She's attempting, but you definitely reap what you sow. And at some point, karma gonna spin a block on her.
That's why it's like you didn't set out to ruin this man's life, ruin this man's career. This man is done, and for what? Because you want to be bitter because he broke up with you or he don't like you, or it was something about. I think what it was something like she had checked his phone or something and seen him talking to other women or something like that, and then she got mad and started an argument or something like that about it, confronted him about it, and then I guess it just escalated from there. But still, it's just like you are bitter,
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Very tough.
and you sought out to get back at him, and you got it. Karma is a mofo. God do not like ugly.
Oh no.
But you set out to ruin this man. I believe he's done. I'm sorry, because especially the way that everything's going with all this stuff coming out with people, they're not going to give nobody any chances. But you know, you set out to ruin this man's career, his livelihood. This man got kids and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you set out to ruin him because you're pissed off. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, we have to agree to disagree. I don't believe he's done. I do believe she's trying to make a good attempt at it, but I don't believe he's done
No,
for good.
I'm
He
telling
probably
you,
take a
trust me.
break.
Being in the entertainment industry, when you are dropped, see, the thing is about the industry, they'll let certain things go. You could be a crackhead, you could be late all the time, you could be a drunk. What you cannot be is an abuser.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
one thing that they do not support or do not allow. Once you're an abuser or you're classified as an abuser, whether it's true or not, if it's found out to be true, or like in his case, it came guilty, you're done. You don't redeem yourself in that, especially when every sponsorship, every partnership, every agency, every contract that you had, every company that you worked for drops you. You are done. He's done. The only thing he could possibly do now is do straight to DVD movies. That's probably about the best he's gonna do because of her. Unless, like I said, unless he has some miracle that will clear his name and he could file an appeal, because this is not a civil case. This is a criminal case.
Right. I mean, yeah, he's looking at a year in jail time.
Yeah. So, he unless there's like a miracle that can clear his name, he's done. And he's young, and that's so sad that women are given that much power, because people got to understand, yes, I'm a woman and I'll advocate for women all day, every day, but not all women tell the truth. And you do not need to be so, yeah, and you don't need to just be believing them just because we're women. Don't just believe us like that, because there's a lot of manipulating women out there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of manipulating people, period.
And people will cry wolf and cry rape just because. And that is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. That women are given that much power, and all they gotta do is shed a couple tears, and you know what I'm saying, and just mess up somebody's whole entire life. And I honestly think that she should be prosecuted. I honestly think that his fans need to start up some kind of petition, contact the Attorney General's office, something to get this woman prosecuted.
She definitely needs to be prosecuted, but that's what I was wondering, is what kind of weight does the last name Jabari hold? Because I'm assuming
none, because I've never heard of her until this situation.
Well, we don't know who she knows, and she clearly knows somebody.
But it's not even that, because I mean, she got arrested. It's just, the prosecutors could go after the big fish and make a name for themselves.
I think she got arrested. Honestly, if I had to be honest, I think she got arrested as a publicity stunt, especially because of how late it was when she got arrested, when the incident had actually taken place. That happened in summertime. It wasn't even officially summer yet. It was like
March, I think.
Yeah. And the arrest didn't take place till October. I think that was just something just to kind of be like, okay, can I get them off me a little bit? But nothing really that they planned
And the
on.
thing is, like, prosecutors, they want the bigger fish. Nobody's heard of her. Nobody even knows who she is. So, of course, they're not going to go after her because what are they really going to get by going after her? Besides, the thing is that they wanted the big fish. They got the big fish. But I wonder if they did stuff the right way. I would question everything because, like I said, there is just no way.
It's
No
definitely a
way.
lot of questions, but if they met on the set of her father's movie, again, we don't know who these people are just because we don't know her. I've looked up some, like, she looked like she's played in 4 movies, and let me see. I don't even think, I haven't watched Mission Impossible in forever. I know that was one. 2 of which I've never even heard
Well,
of.
which Mission Impossible? Because there's like 20 of them.
I know, right? I'm pulling her back up to see her exact movies that it named, but it wasn't many. So it says she did A Christmas Carol, which was done in 2020, a movie called Narivi. Narivi?
Never heard of that. That must be
Don't even know
independent.
what that is. Yeah. Let me see. It also said I think she played in Barbie. Didn't watch that one. It said she was a
Wait, she
dancer.
was in Barbie? I watched Barbie. I don't know which character she could have played in Barbie because I watched Barbie and I did not see. Go back to the picture. Go back. Hold on, I'll pull it up on my other phone.
It said Barbie, and all it says is dancer. And then,
Oh, and
so
that's
I'm
why.
guessing she was a dancer because it also says that she's a choreographer as well. And so she dancer, Mission Impossible, dancer, a movie called Mood, dancer. She was in A Christmas Carol, Belle's dancer, Coldplay, Cry Cry Cry, music
So she
video.
hasn't had any big roles.
So no big roles in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumanium. It says movement coach, and so I don't think that she's ever really been on screen that way, but has played a part in some way with these movies.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, again, that's just one of those things. I believe she might know somebody, and maybe it's her father, and maybe she's somewhere down the family, and the rest of the family got got money or got pulled. I don't know, because for all the evidence to be stacked up against her, and it clearly looking like she is guilty, that doesn't make sense. Why this man is now, according to people, who were giving this credit to this article here, he will be facing sentencing on February 6th. It says, what's next for Jonathan Majors? How the actor's conviction could pave the way for other accusers. Marvel cut ties with the actor who will face sentencing on February 6th. It says at 2:52 p.m. Monday, the six-person jury, and Jonathan Majors assault and harassment trial. Oh, harassment.
Yeah, that's what it was. Oh, yeah, it was one misdemeanor assault and one misdemeanor harassment. Yeah, exactly.
He's
So go
harassing her.
look up Ezra Miller's charges. Go look him up.
I don't even see that. Okay. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
filed into the Manhattan courtroom and pronounced the actor guilty of some of the charges. By 4:33 p.m., Disney had publicly distanced themselves from their former Marvel villain, saying Majors would not reprise his role as Kang the Conqueror and ousting the actor from their Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the fallout from the conviction could keep coming with more potential legal trouble in the actor's future. Major.
Yep, because now she could sue him in civil court.
Major was convicted of misdemeanor assault in the 3rd degree, recklessly causing physical injury as well as harassment in the 2nd degree, which is a violation. But those charges were based on a single alleged fight between him and his former girlfriend, Grace Jabari, in New York City on March 25th. It says evidence presented and precluded from the trial, as well as reported allegations from dozens of people who know the actor, suggest that additional allegations of abuse could be forthcoming. Wow. In June, Rolling Stone ran a report that alleged Majors had physically and or emotionally abused two of his former partners. No one is surprised that this is coming out. One source told the outlet, "It always felt like it was a matter of time because his behavior never changed. He's kind of a bad dude, and now it's just catching up with him." So who said that? We do not have
But this is the thing. People gotta understand. Excuse me. People gotta understand. Usually, when a person gets accused, others actually come out the woodwork. Others actually come out and say, "Yeah, this person abused me too." Nobody else has
Right.
came out. Nobody.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. This is like a whole nother Johnny Depp situation. Nobody else has came out.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody else has. So people is just sitting there putting in their 2 cents again, trying to get their little 15 minutes of fame. Making up stuff now just to get it in the paper or in the
And it's
magazine.
crazy 'cause they don't leave who quoted that last one saying that it was only a matter of time and that he had been physically abusive to two other former partners. It does not leave who
And
exactly
those
said
two
that.
partners have not came forward.
Have not came forward. And yeah, and that's the truth with what we've been seeing lately concerning Diddy, even concerning Bishop T.D. Jakes, concerning Vin Diesel, and probably who else knows who's going to come up next. Well, what we've normally seen, what is a pattern with these celebrities, is that they do, if there are other victims who have been through something traumatic with these entertainers, they do come out, they do say something.
That's what I'm
They do.
saying. Nobody else has came out. This happened in March. They had from March until whatever November 30th or whatever when the trial started to contact the prosecution. The prosecution would have known all this stuff if there was these supposed other partners. They would have tried to get them as witnesses in court to try to prove behavior, try to prove a pattern.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? None of that happened. So
Right. And that's why
that's
I
what I'm
said,
saying. Like we will, we don't know the full extent of the thing. And honestly, he probably could have beat her in the car. But
right.
the stuff that I've seen, if I was on that jury, I would have found him not guilty.
Wow. Well, it does say here that Major is slated to return to Manhattan's criminal court to be sentenced in the Jabari case on February 6th. And
As I said, that's not
so
enough time for him to file an appeal. It's not
right.
enough time.
Right. Definitely seems like what Mr. Donald Trump would call a witch hunt. Definitely seems like a witch hunt. It seems like they're targeting him for some reason, or maybe he just happened to be the black guy that she was with at that time. Because as we seen from the picture, when she was picked up from the police, she was pictured there with another African American man. And to me, that's a little strange, especially with you already know with what she's going through and what she's been going through. Again, that arrest did not happen till October, but the assault had actually taken place in June. The assault was said to have taken place in June, where she
So that
had.
means so if that incident played out, but they got their dates wrong because unless she assaulted him twice, because the
That's
whole
what I was
incident that
wondering.
they're
That's what I was getting to.
because the incident that he's being charged with happened in March. They show him running away from her in March.
Right, and that's what
That's
I'm
when
wondering
she rips
because they
his
said
coat and
something
hits
about
him.
June.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's when they get the calls about in March. So unless she turned around and assaulted him again.
Right, and that's where I was getting to. Maybe she assaulted him again. Maybe he tried to meet up with her. Maybe he tried to, maybe she wanted to talk to him. Who knows? I mean, I would hope he wouldn't meet up with her, but
I hope not too.
and sometimes it does happen. It's not like it's unheard of. It does happen. But the whole thing again is really, really unfortunate, especially because he seems like an okay dude, and he's definitely a great actor. He has done some amazing things. I think he even played in the Lovecraft Country, and so he did. He was one of the main characters, and so he's done quite a bit with the short amount of time that he has been in the entertainment world. And it's just really, really unfortunate that this could be again what just ruins his whole acting career. It is not
And
okay
that's
to
why I said
ever falsely accuse anybody.
exactly. And that's why
Never
I
okay.
said look up Ezra Miller and look up every his charges. And you tell me how he
Oh,
got
I was
this
going to show
man,
y'all who he was anyway. So let me go ahead and pull him up.
you know, and y'all tell me how this man got to keep his job after the charges that he got were way worse. Nobody dropped him. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Flash was a bomb, and I'm not even a Flash fan. But that was a good movie. I'm not gonna even lie. But the whole point is that the whole point of it was is that his stuff was worse and he pled guilty to it. So he admitted to doing it because he pled guilty. So he
Wow.
admitted to all of that. When you plead guilty, you're admitting guilt. That's why it's called guilty. You're entering a guilty plea. So
Right.
that's worse than being found guilty. Admitting it is worse. So, you know,
But you admitted that you actually committed these crimes.
exactly. And he got to keep his job. And that's what I have a problem with.
All right. I am looking for the list here now on the crimes that were committed. He is definitely a character. I'll say that for sure. By these pictures. I do see one thing, and let me go ahead and share this with you guys.
Oh yeah, he was charged of it says Miller pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of unlawful trespass stemming from the Vermont burglary arrest. As part of a deal that dropped the burglary and larceny charges, Miller agreed to pay a $500 fine, serve 1 year probation, undergo random drug testing, and continue mental health treatment.
Oh, so well, yeah, that always sounds about right when it comes to a certain race.
Yeah, but
It's
see right
mental
here it
health
says
is always a
he's
thing.
been arrested 3 times in 2022 for disorderly conduct, assault,
Mhm.
felony burglary. That was
Wow.
just in 2022. Oh, here we go. Ezra Miller kidnapping. That's
He
because
kidnapped somebody?
that's what there's some girl or some teenager or something, and that's when he was going on the run for like 4 months.
Okay, and so according to this, and I'm wondering if it's the same thing. And again, this is not to throw out the race card. It's just you have to pay attention to that. This again for the listeners because we have listeners of all races, and we love you all here at the Love Talk Podcast. But this is just to pay attention to the facts of what these things are and what's being put out in the public eye for us to see and be able to recognize and notice. And this is just one of those things that you cannot not pay attention to because it's right in front of your face. It also says here in June 22, it said Miller had began grooming the activist, when she was underage, alleging that they had given her alcohol and drugs, including LSD and ketamine, and physically abused her. The Standing Rock, I don't even know what this says, tribal court granted a temporary order of protection against Miller on behalf of Iron Ice, a temporary order of protection against Miller after physically abusing her and also giving an underage, a minor, alcohol, drugs, including LSD. It says
Mm-hmm.
the same month, a Massachusetts mother and her 12-year-old were granted temporary harassment protection order against the actor after they allegedly behaved inappropriately towards a child. Towards a child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that is not okay. And as we can see, I
And
didn't
like I
even
said, he
know.
still has his job.
And
He has all his sponsors. He has all his contracts. That's my point. He did
because
way
he
worse.
actually got a felony count of burglary As
Exactly.
well. That was a felon. Count that he got.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. All his charges was way worse.
Right, right,
That's what
and
I'm
that's what
saying.
we have
And then
here.
that child thing alone, the child thing alone is enough to drop him. The
Yeah,
child thing alone is enough to drop him. But
but
no.
it looks like they are blaming it on mental health.
Okay, but that's the thing. But it's always a mental
So,
problem when it's a different race.
oh
It's
yeah, of
always
course.
a thug or a criminal when it's the other race.
Yeah. Of course, of course, of course. I mean, that much we know to be true. Whether someone is in the spotlight or out of it, we know that much to definitely be true. And that's what they're saying is that it's the mental health as it concerns Israel.
But
Miller.
how bad of a mental health do you have to get to harm a child?
He pled guilty to this, and so regardless of what type of mental health that they want to try to blame it on, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing, and for that order to be only temporary, I have a problem with that. These children that you gave an underage, a minor, they're underage as far as I'm concerned, they're a minor. LSD.
And on top of that, it was accused of assaulting somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are
Plus
pretty serious charges that
felony
he did.
burglary.
Yeah, that he did say, "Hey, I'm guilty of." He admitted to. When you when you
And
when you
that's
plead, when you plead guilty, you're admitting that, and not in all cases, because some people have pled guilty in
I mean,
cases
some
where
people
they
are
weren't.
guilty because they don't want to go through the court because they can't afford it or something, or
They
they
don't
just
want to go to the
just
court, or sometimes there are different protocols and things that the police and detectives have to do where they will question you and grill you. And I've watched certain documentaries where people said, and of both races, of both African American and white American, where they said they thought they had to plead guilty. They just wanted to say something to get the police off of them because they will grill them so hard. And so that is rare, but it does happen.
yeah, or people
It
just
does
plead
happen.
guilty because they can't afford to be spending
Right.
time in court all the time, so they'd rather just plead guilty whether they did or not, depending on how high the
Depending on
crime
the
is, obviously.
situation.
But if it's something that's like little itty bitty or something, then they'll just plead guilty, do whatever fine or whatever they got to do just to be over and done with it. So they don't
Yeah,
have to keep being
depending
in
on the
court. Stuff like
situation.
that happens, and I can understand stuff like that. Or if you feel like you're not getting good representation, and they talk about you finna be spending a long time in jail or something, and sometimes you just gotta do stuff like that. But when you got money, you got time to take it to court. Mhm.
Right. And he pled guilty to these things. It seems like to me that he was definitely in some shape, form, or fashion